Hey everybody, thank you for joining the Shamokin Zone. Tonight we're doing old school pranks. What's up, Shamokin?
Yeah, so let me go ahead into the story about how I lit a charcoal up. I was doing a barbecue and I had put a charcoal piece on a
Okay.
then, it was a bunch of people in the hood, but we was having a barbecue in the project. It was even I don't know if you could even call it a barbecue. It's just like a grill inside the project. So basically, we just a bunch of us getting high lit, and then what happened? I put the charcoal piece on the bench, and so I light up a blunt. I sit down, and I'm waiting because I know somebody's gonna sit down for me. Yeah, but I thought it was gonna be somebody else. I didn't expect the person to sit down to be somebody that I didn't want to happen to. But I didn't wanna blow it up, you feel me? I'm like, whoever sits on the magic seat is gonna get it, he's gonna get it. So I'm just sitting there just waiting, and my son's godmother, Kayla, you know Kayla.
Yeah.
Listen, so Kayla sits down. I just look at her. I'm like, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the smoking, just like any minute now. When I started laughing, she just looked at me. I'm like, she held it for a while, but she had these, like she had thick clothing, but then she just jumps up. She was like, "What?" I was like, "What happened?" See, when she got that, she looked at the seat and that the charcoal piece is still on fire.
Did her pants have a hole?
It was just like, she didn't let it get that far, like she said it was like a on. It was just like a matter of time, that's why I was just looking at her like any minute. But I was doing it to somebody else. I was trying to catch one of my friends because, that's why I lit the blunt up because I know him. Like, yo, he sees the blunt, he smell, he going, oh, let me go smoke. So I was trying to catch somebody up, but Kayla happened to be walking down the block. And me and Kay was tight. So that made her run up to the bench. I was like, I didn't want to blow it up. I should have though. No, I should have. I got that for somebody else. But I wanted to see work. I was like, it works.
So, Bobette, what's your latest prank?
The one that we called Oswaldo, we prank called him with one of those apps and said that he crashed into my car with the truck with an automated voice. And he was doing, I know, prank call. And he said, but you hit my car. I saw your truck hit my car. And just he got a truck, he's like, when he hit him. I understand. Then we had, after he finished arguing with the automated thing, we called again with a girl talking real perverted. And he's like, yes, yes. Yes, yes, like everything. So we over here busting out laughing, like he's talking to the automated thing. It was saying all this crazy stuff and said, you pay now. And he goes, yes. I was like, look at that. He's gonna pay for it. Like he was literally falling for them things.
I don't know how, but Bobby catfished him.
I wish I had a cash app. I would have told him cash at me 150. Yeah, he would have probably done it because it's with certain people. And he'd be just, oh no, she's too pretty to work. Just stand there. I give you $20. Just stand there. I'm like, wow.
Oh my goodness. I think the funniest thing that I did was so I had these old friends right back in Florida and they have moved out of my house and they had went to her parents' house, whatever, right? So we had stopped talking for a little bit because some stuff I went down, whatever, we fell out. And then I started smoking, started chilling, needed something to laugh about because I was stressed. Listen, I started calling every pizza place, every Chinese spot, ordering food and sending it to their house, bro. The dad alone was like, yo, whoever, when I find out who sent a ton of pizza to my house, I'm going to mess them up. And then later on, I found out on a Facebook post through my friend, she was like, yo, somebody keeps sending pizza to my house. It's not cool. You're making my family mad. And I kept sending it over there. They never figured it out. And meanwhile, I'm laughing. Here's where it gets crazy. Later on, my homeboy starts telling me this story, and he's like, bro, there was a point where my girl's parents were ready to throw us out the house. I'm like, wait, what happened? Man, somebody kept sending pizza and Chinese food to the crib. And yo, when he told me that, I lost it. I'm talking crying, laughing all night. Because imagine opening the door every few hours and there's another delivery guy standing there looking disappointed. The parents were getting more and more heated every time. Like, who keeps ordering all this food? Yo, chaos. Absolute chaos. So after things finally cooled down for like a week, the prank started back up again. But this time, different restaurants, because the original spots had already stopped delivering there. At that point, the address basically got blacklisted. Pizza places? Nope. Chinese food spots? Nope. Everybody was like, nah, not that house again. And the funniest part is, years later, I still wonder if that address ever recovered. Like, maybe eventually new workers got hired and they could finally order food again. Or maybe to this day, somebody tries ordering a pizza and the restaurant sees the address and immediately says, absolutely not.
My friends were really crazy. I say they were really twisted in the head. We was all drunk, and that's why I never fell asleep. Because they used to like put lipstick or put hair remover in somebody's eyebrows. I was famous. Yo, people wake up, oh, it's burning. They go like this, and the hair comes off. The hair come off.
That's true though. I seen a lot of that happen in my hood.
All right, so tell me why every friend group has at least one story where everybody was acting completely ridiculous for no reason. Like this happened during one of those late nights where everybody's exhausted, joking around, nobody wants to go home yet, just pure chaos energy. Everybody drunk, and one dude completely passed out on the couch, gone, out cold. So naturally, people start thinking, yo, we should prank him. Now, everybody starts putting together this household stuff and a little toy car just to confuse him when he woke up. We made it look like it was stuck in his butt with a condom wrapped around it. Then we put lotion in it to make it look realistic. And the funniest part, everybody agreed to stay completely serious. No smiling, no laughing, no eye contact, just silent. So after a while, the dude wakes up slowly, looks around the room, sees everybody acting weird, and immediately you can tell he's trying to figure out what's going on. Nobody says a word. Yo, that silence was probably the funniest part of the whole prank because everybody was fighting for their lives trying not to laugh. So he gets up, walks to the bathroom, and the second the door closes, I'm talking people falling over laughing, tears in their eyes, couldn't breathe. Then he comes back out looking confused, and somebody hits him with the calmest, yo, you all right? Man, looking back, it was such dumb, harmless late night humor. But those are always the stories people remember the most years later. I went camping, all right? But I went camping with, what's her name? With Kelly. I went camping with Kelly. She tried to charge Mason $10 for a slice of cheese. Literally, I swear, for a slice of cheese from that. That that's the day I broke up with her. I'm like, what? You charging my man over here $10 for a slice of cheese?
I mean, he's kind of weird.
When you bought that food with food stamps, you trying to charge the $10 cash. I was like, what is your problem?
At least give them 2 slices.
$5 a slice.
You charging them 10.
And we was over there in good campground, the one you know.
That's why she was bougie.
She was like the one over there in.
I know where you saw the snake.
Got the name of it already. Brickett's Glen. It's like 2,000 feet high in mountain. There's bears. There was a black bear. And everybody was scared except me. I stood out there with the black bear. Yo, but I scared the crap out of them because it was dark, right? And you could hear the bear. Like you could see that the eyes glow from the trees, from the moon glowing on it. I took a whole bunch, I took a whole bunch of rocks, the little rocks from the floor, and I threw it up in the air. And when they heard it, like it was coming through the trees, they all start running, right? They all start running, and I act like I was gonna be the first one to go in, and I act like I was running too. They pushed me out the way, and they all ran inside, left me out there, and then they closed I was like, really? Imagine if it would have been real. Like, I would have been fighting for, but they literally like closed the door thinking that, like they pushed me out the way and everything's gonna.
Be like, "Oh, that reminds me of the time that we went to DC and we were in a turn door. We're doing DoorDash, and my husband, he has to go through this turn door, okay? And he goes in, he's coming out, okay? And there's this guy, and for some reason, he gets in the same slide of the turn wheel door as my husband. So my husband's sitting there with his hands up like, "Yo, why are you so close to me?" And that guy was like, he's like just looking at him from behind. They come out of the door. He looked at him like, "Yo, what's your problem?" He was like, "I ain't got a problem." Man, that was so funny, bro. Hubby was so mad.
Listen, I was with my mother when my mother was alive. I was behind the elevator and she bust a fart like she said, man. And the elevator was packed. Everybody just was. Everybody like, she just like stood with the signature look like it wasn't me. I heard that vibrate right next to me. Like they were looking at me, they were looking at the person next to me, nobody know who. Like, they heard it. That stunk too. Oh my God.
So my little brother, right? He used to call me and he didn't have a lot of money and stuff. And I used to always help him out, right? So I would send food over there to Florida. So I would send him like eggs, cheese, normal stuff. And then later, I started to want to mess with him, right? So, bro, one time, listen, I sent this, bro, canned sardines, ham, beef, like everything in a can, bro. When he got that order, he was so excited. He was waiting on the food, he was so hungry.
She put everything in cans. Yeah, so everything canned, my dude.
So look, he calls me, okay? Now I'm already crying like Jay sitting right beside me. I am crying already because I'm already hysterically laughing. So get this. He opens the bags and the first few bags he saw, he was like, "Great. There's ham, there's, eggs, milk, things like that." Bro, when he opens that next bag, he was like, "Yo, what is this?" And he was like, my god, you hate me! And then look at this, bro. The craziest part about it was that I went to prank my brother, and my mother starts it off with, "Ooh, who bought all this stuff?" A prank already going wrong.
When you said that, that that would have been like a jail package to your uncle. He was expecting good, like somebody bring you food. Little bro was hungry, bruh. He was waiting, and you take it. You about to get ham, cheese, you know, make a sandwich. I'm saying, like, what else are you gonna do? Like, you playing with food, bruh.
Yeah, but thank God my mom liked it. She's like, "Sardines." She's like, "I like sardines." It was just rolling.
Because at least that joke, it was, those cans would have been still there if it wasn't for your mom.
Correction officer caught me with a stupid prank. I was an SPA in Rikers Island. SPA is a person that watches people from committing suicide. So I was walking up, no SP. Anyway, over there, they give you a job. Yeah, SPA is when you watch like people like suicidal and you do like a gauze job, but okay. They let you out with a flashlight and you talk to people that go to the gates, because they cells. So you walk to the gates and you talk to them like, "Yo, I know you got time, but you're going to go home to people that's not going home." Like, you convince them that they're going home because they are going to go home. Six building is go home. You only do like a year or 2 years the most, which is 2 bullets running. Wow, 16 months. Because I did that, that's why I got the job. And the CEO tells me, "Hey, Cologne, I need you to hand out the mail to these guys over here because we serving and we cannot, hand out the mail for them." And I'm like, so I start passing their mail to do these slots, like, while the CEOs was over there doing the pans and boom. So he goes, "Find out who's over Ben. Over Ben." And I'm like, "Yo, Who's Over Ben? Over Ben. Anybody here named Over Ben, right? So I'm looking at this field and he's laughing at me. And I'm like, what the fuck is he laughing at? And I could say over there. He said, hello, say the opposite way. Bend over. Like I was telling people, bend over, they would die laughing. They caught me with that though. I was like, over Ben.
You never seen nobody ever hang up? I seen a lot of that happen.
Yeah, but that, when I say I saved 2 lives, listen, he was hanging up and I said, crack out 29. You want to hear some crazy? Pick him up. And the COs start run real quick. And they come with that little hook and help him down and take,
Listen to this. I wish, well, I didn't wish. I wish for the dude that it was like that when he tried to hung up next to me. Ma, well, listen, we was in the box.
in the hole.
Yeah, we was all in the hole, and there it gets pretty rough, especially if depending what building you. Yeah, no, listen, check this out, bro. So this dude, man, he got in the box. The next day he comes in. So you when they it's very minimal. Like anything when you in the box, you don't got nothing. You just got the box, and when they open that slot, that's all you got. But you could still see, you know how it is. Like you could still see the slot.
Unless you're in the cookie floor. Buy cookies and peanut butter and like that.
You don't get none of that.
You don't get none of that. You got to work levels in 1, 2, 3, all the way. 4th level. The 4th level is where you can get a little bit of more in commissary. Better be ordering. Not to cheat no more.
When this happened, I was looking through the little hole, right? Then they rushed in the room. Everyone was saying the guy had reached a breaking point and just couldn't handle everything he was going through anymore. So he decides to hang up. And you ever heard of Pat? You've been in the island. Yeah, you know who's Pat.
Did, and I did all the buildings.
I thought he was gonna help him or something, but instead things got intense. Honestly, it seemed like that snapped him back to reality. He was acting totally out of it at first, and then he started reacting again. I mean, they messed him up.
That's crazy. I couldn't imagine being that guy after the mess up. I feel like his thoughts right there was like, if you just let me go, I wouldn't have to feel this no more.
Yeah, but the most intense experiences I saw were when I went upstate. Places like Attica Correctional Facility, Clinton Correctional Facility, Auburn Correctional Facility, and Sing Sing Correctional Facility. The atmosphere there was intense, especially in the tunnels. People would lose their commissary stuff all the time, so you had to be careful who you were around. If you stayed close to the wrong people, others would judge you for it too.
So,
Yeah, you had to know who you hung out with and who you walked with. Everything was strict. Attica was the craziest. Clinton was crazy over there. Everybody was just like instance. Like, the officers was like the sister, the brother, Kate. They have kids together. You know what I mean?
or incest,
Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? They crossed. There was a lot of cross with like 7 foot tall, like gorilla like officers and looking like special needs.
like special needs.
You know what I mean? You see how you see us? One of the people that be eating glue off the glass. So yeah, it was just crazy. Like I seen the dude come with a cancer.
Yo, tell her about that, man. Listen, man.
You only got a certain amount of time to eat your food. If you didn't, people would pressure you or try to take your stuff. You really had to watch yourself in there. Seeing all that made me realize I'd rather just do my time quietly and stay out of trouble. I did that shot. I did a teacher's day. I was a translator. And there I met all the cartel. They were talking about this before El Chapo escaped. They was like, Wento. And I'm like, this is talking like, cause people talk. So I'm over here like, nah, I be playing with them. And they always tell me that they're from Sinaloa. And he's like, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Next, I'm hearing the news and I'm like, oh, they all inside the jail. They're all the Mexicans. Like, I'm like, what the, like, almost started a big riot, like they locked it down. We was locked down for like a whole week because, it was just crazy. It was crazy, man.
Wait, let's go back to funny. I'm already feeling sad this podcast.
But yeah, talk about that. We can't bring Tio Felipe on this.
I gave Tio Felipe his first Teresa with a girl when he turned 52
So nah, but
for his 52nd birthday. I hooked him up.
I told this girl, don't throw his dirt out there. Yo, that's mess. He like, yo, I did it, yo. I told you, fella, this is long time ago.
No Felicia.
Yeah, the fella. That's his girl.
Exactly. Imagine him hearing this.
That's what I'm saying, yo. You putting T.O. in a hot seat.
Now, what I'm a, yeah, I told him you never experienced something like, nah. I'm like, oh, hell no. You got to get, you know what? He was nervous. The girl was 22 years old. And I told her, just go talk to him and help him relax. It was honestly funny, though. You should have seen his expression when she walked over to him. He looked completely shocked.
Remember, I don't know if you remember this, but when I was younger, I don't know if you ever seen him when he was young. Have you ever seen, when did you see, no, younger than that. Like, I'm talking about like when he was like in his 20s around there.
I don't know about all that. In his 20s, yeah, maybe he's 30, but not his 20s.
Listen, you never seen G, yo, you would have seen there. You would have recognized him. In Israel, you know Israel?
Yeah, I know Israel.
Yo, that too was like that B dot, like, like I knew Munchie when Felipe was around like 27 years old, 27, 28 years old. Ask him how he was.
You hung out in Manhattan, like at 103rd Street?
No, I'm talking about when we was in Brooklyn.
Yeah, but you ever hung out in Manhattan? Of course. Omar, the light-skinned kid, he lived on the second floor.
On what building though?
That that first building when you come out the 6th train right down 103rd, that's the thing. You know, you walk, because my brother used to live on the up the top of the hill.
I know, on 2nd Street, 102.
Yeah, 102.
123. I remember.
And down the block was 123. And down the block was where Omar lived. That that is crazy. When I tell you what used to be real back in those days though, man, you know that big hill.
Yeah, who doesn't know that?
I used to grab the back on the other bus.
Oh, I did that too. I used to go slide. I used to go slide and skiing on the back of the bus with the snow. Cause you got the snow.
Yeah, so you pull on the bumper and it pulls. You just hope that you don't hit no potholes. You hit a pothole, you're done.
Listen, man, when I'm talking about no sneak, no skates, nothing, like just your boots. Yeah, or your sneakers, whichever you had on, and the bus dragging you down the street.
I used to ride on the back and hang onto the train going from Manhattan to the Bronx. Back then, a lot of people were doing risky stuff like train surfing. I stopped after witnessing a really bad accident in a tunnel. It happened so fast and it honestly shook everybody up. After that, I knew I didn't want to keep taking those kinds of chances anymore. It all happened so fast. I saw him try to move out of the way, but there was an accident. Everything got chaotic immediately, and they shut the train down right away. It was honestly one of the most traumatic things I've ever witnessed, and the scene stayed with me for a long time.
He didn't even feel that.
My goodness. Wow, that's heartbreaking.
I was yelling for him to get off the train because it was moving fast. It was a frightening situation, and afterward, I kept wondering why he hadn't jumped sooner. It was a terrible thing to witness. Another intense memory happened on 157th and Elton with Canasso and his twin brother. There was construction happening near an abandoned building where people used to hang out. The place was huge and in rough condition, with broken floors and dangerous areas throughout. Back then, we were young and made reckless decisions, often getting into trouble and running through the building to avoid being caught. Tragically, during one incident, Canasso's brother died in an accident. We went inside a construction site and I was driving the big Ford thing, the forklift thing, though, that, with the box like a cherry, but it's a big truck and it got the hooks. It's like a forklift, but it extends like arms. You know what I mean? So check it out. Well, I was driving that and I was like, so he was like, I'm gonna drive the Bobcat. But the one that I remember when it happened, he was driving the Bobcat, but he wasn't paying attention. We're calling out to him to stop, stop. But it was too late. And when the vehicle reversed, it was an upsetting scene that deeply affected everyone who witnessed it, especially the brother. I also remember times when people were heavily under the influence and made dangerous choices, sometimes believing they could do things that put them at serious risk. Those moments often ended in tragedy, and left a lasting impact on the people around him.
Seen that happen a lot in New York.
Yo, when the body lands, it go boom. Yeah, like a big explosion. Like sounds like a bomb. I never knew that a human sounds like that. We was all piloted like this. We was all piloted like this. So imagine you over here, you smoking, like
the bones and all that.
on top of that, you still see the body shape. Like the body still jumps even after it's flat. Like the brain and everything, the nerves is like, yo, I see in 158 the brain.
Yo, and nah, I know you heard about this. If you from the Bronx, you definitely heard about this. But there was this like this drug war going on at 183rd and Webster.
I know Webster.
Yeah, you know where they come down the stairs?
Yeah, I know the 184, 183. Yeah.
This guy ran up on this guy and started questioning him. I was like 14 years old. That's when all used to live by a park. You remember when I was on 187? I know it was around that time. I was only like 14 years old. 14, 13 years old, sound like that. The guy looked at us first. It was me and my boy. Thought he thought we was the that he was looking for because he was like chasing him. We was smoking, so we just chilling like that. And we see the dude come up running, but then he try to act like he's walking, but he tried to go up the stairs. He looked at us and then he was like, nah, like, but I felt it when he came, like that had the devil in almost something. So I looked at my boy, like I got shook, you feel me? I'm like 13, 14. I'm like, yeah, I'm just smoking this dark night. Then he seen the guy going up the stairs. He runs up the stairs. The guy tries to take off. So he's like, oh, it's gonna be a fight. Let's go run and see what's gonna happen, right? Yo, me and my boy try to go up over here. Then we seen the same coming back down. We was like, now it was more shook because we running towards the duck, but then the duck, he coming down with that. It was like we just looked at it. He looked at us again. Like he could have just blamed us. Like he just kept going. So then we was like, oh, like he bounced. Then we went up. Yo, when we got up there though, bro, yo, the dude's face, he hit that with like a little soul joint. The little, that's what he had. I see when he pulled up on us, he had like a little duck, had a cut off shotgun. Yeah, but that little joint.
Yeah, it looked like the 22s.
Yo, that was crazy, man. That was like a shotgun. Like it was like split joint.
They got the 2-shot and the 4-shot. It's like a little block. That one time with that, yo, when we went over there, that had a big hole. In the brain, that was like, oh my goodness. Yo, the brain was moving on the ground. I was like a little worm.
That bugged me out. Not a big piece.
Like it was like it wasn't bouncing. It was just like was the way it was moving. That was crazy. And the guy was making all these noises and all that mad stuff coming out of like his mouth. I was like, yo, man.
Well, I don't know how we took a turn from funny to the deepest low.
Crazy.
I like crazy like that because that's what made me the way I am today. Seeing so much like that. Like I would one day walk with some drug dealer, right? And I'm young, I'm like 10, 11, hanging out with big drug dealers that because they got money and they take you out to eat and please, show you how to drive and do crazy. So boom, this is like, oh, we talking. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. So this other Moreno come and just go boom. He's looking at me and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I'm looking at the dude. I know the dude lives in my building, and I'm like this, like I know that he's big time. Like this dude, like I know both of them, but I never mess with the black dude because like he have too much drama. This told me, don't worry, my man, you good. And he said, I got you. I got a game system for you. That's when Nintendo first came out. He bought me my first Nintendo system. Every single game that they had, I had. Any game I wanted, I had. He was coming, be like, little man, you good? You need some bread or something? You bought or something? Like, he used to hook me up. After that, I started getting known by the other ones because there was like, that kid right there could be quiet. He didn't say, like, yeah, they knew. Yeah, man. But yeah, I met a lot of crazy people. I would never thought in my life that I would have, met with like Tony Rose, John Gotti, Pistol Pete. Like, these are people that we're doing life, and I'm inside of prisons with them. And they was telling me crazy. I would just be like, wow, like this is like the real deal. Like I'm with the big boys. I'm in college, in prison. Like, Bobby Wish. I went from elementary to high school to college. Like I got the degree. I went to the hard notch for real, yo. I don't know how to make fire with one single battery. You don't need two batteries to make a fire. Showed me how to turn on a cigarette with a battery. I was like, this is cool. Yeah, you hang out with veterans there that, they just cannibals. Those were the best.
Oh my goodness.
I was there with some psychopath, and then he tried pouring gasoline all over. So when I used to talk with him, he had like this. His skin was not real skin. It was like a rubber, like if he had a half a mask type on, and his eye was like one over here. He had a fake eye over here, like he could take it out. He was always showing me. You could see inside, crazy. Yeah. Look at that dude from the Happy Man Woman Make dude. Crazy. It was the smoke. So much smoke. They died of smoking. You know the smoking.
Yeah, I seen that too. Yeah, that was crazy.
No exit. No backdoor exit, nothing. He was trapped.
Yeah, he did that, right.
It's like putting a box on fire and the front door stuck. Yeah, he put the whole front on fire.
I think somebody survived that. A couple people survived that. I swear. You gotta look that up because I'm telling you, I think some couple people survived. I think it was like 3 or 4 people, but yeah,
Few people out of 100 and something.
it was a bunch of people that died.
They were overloaded and everything. They was not even supposed to have that capacity. They was not. Yeah. And they didn't have an emergency exit.
That was a massive.
You remember the fever?
Yeah, yeah, they were.
You say 180. Tingling, tingling, tingling. Black Falcon. Come on. I know. I know all that. Every over there down the black. That was the Gambin, the monsters. They had 2 pizzerias in Little Italy and all that. That was serious. Got your roof, gotta reach it right here.
Yeah, I know.
Let's get back to funny.
Yo, you want to hear some funny?
Yeah.
You really want to hear some funny with Mr. Snow?
No.
Funny. He funny. I tell you, I seen it all. I seen it all. I put both of them together one time. And my brother OJ was like, you gonna take Felipe with you? I'm like, yeah. Mr. Snow's around Felipe's age, so they about to say Adrian, he needs somebody. They can relate because they can talk about stuff from their era. So I like hanging with people like that because I thought Snow will bring out the snow. And you look, taking him back to when he was like young, like you that age, and somebody brings you back to that moment, like drinking. It was it was fun. At least nobody got violent. Those jokes act real weird. He would come and start putting his pants down like this, and what? See, I'm like, what the is wrong with you? See, I have videos of the Snow doing mad crazy. He's like, come on, record me, record me. But that we could always remember this. I recorded one time. He said, he said he dropped the coat on the floor.
He tried to pick it up with his ass.
This got on the floor, right? And it was like, imagine dropping it here and it's right there all over. This got on the floor, right? He started snorting everything. Dust bunnies, everything. This snorted everything. And then on top of that, he started licking the floor. I was like, yo, wow, I gotta let my 200 go away. He literally dropped the little valve thing. Like he dropped, it slipped out his head and it said poof. So it spread. That started licking the floor, snorting it.
What, he broke a glass?
No, the little brow things that, how you got them chins that you unscrew your neck open? One of them things, right? Normally people put their ashes like, yeah, is it one of them? But it was cold. And when he took the little cap off, right, it was, no, the metal, like a little metal. It looked like silver. Anyway, he dropped it and all of it came, like most of it went out without. Only a little bit in the bottom, still in the bottom of the little seat. Like he looked, he said, oh, look, that's like $200 right there. Yo, he caught me. Watch me do it. They're crazy. Yeah, snorting dust bunny hair, whatever was on that floor, he snorted it, and then he was so tweaked up, and then I had this moonshine outside hanging in my window that I had forgot about for 5 years. You know that the bullshit is potent. Look, for 5 years I had this thing hanging like hooked like that, but outside the window, and I forgot about it for 5 years. One day the window broke, and I went to go fix it. I'm like, oh my God, look, that's still hanging in the net bag. You know, the little spring net bag. It was all like corroded but it was still hanging there. I was shocked. I mean, the changed colors, the looked at blue when I made it, that was like clear. This was blue. I thought it was like windshield washer for the car. That's how it looked.
Wow.
So it was homemade moonshine though. I tell him I made this. He's like, all right, it's what? I opened it and he's like, oh, this is my real strong. I gave him that much. No lie, that much. These took that shot screaming. I was like, what the is wrong with you? He's like, I drank gasoline. They started grabbing his chest and he said, Bobby, I think I got to call the VA hospital. I don't feel good, Bobby. Oh my God, I don't feel good. He said, give me another intercool. Cause I'm thinking, what the, you gonna be okay? He's like, oh, I can't see. I can't see. Where are you? I lost my vision. Oh my God, I lost my vision. He started going crazy now because the moonshine that I made, his vision went away. I made that with rice sugar. I used like the flavor packages from the juice. Like this is fermented. Like that was like straight gasoline. Like, man, this can believe he lost his vision for like 15 minutes. He couldn't see. His vision came back. I can see again. Oh my God. Yo, he was going crazy. He was going crazy. I have seen what? Like, I have seen the smash out. One time, Bree said, I stole this back scratcher from you. And he looked at Bree. You know Bree, Brianna. He looked at Bree, right? It asked her quiet, I like. But it triggered him because she said it like this. He felt it kind of offended. And it took him back to the war era. Like, yeah, he went through trauma. So she really didn't know that. And she triggered him by saying, I stole this from Mr. Snow. And it was a back scratcher, right? She's the metal ones and reopens and starts scratching. And he looked at her and he go, you stole my, and he went over there and grabbed her. He's like, this is my, nobody steal from me. And he went crazy and smashed the microwave on the floor. I'm just there like this. I'm like, like, I'm not scared. But you should have saw the way she went from white to whiter. Like she said more like, I'm like, she ghosted. She crossed that because she said, I stole this from Mr. Snow. Why are you there? That's like me saying, I stole this from Jonathan, man. And you, what? How you know what I mean? But it triggers something in him because he may go looking and he went crazy. Somebody did something like they stole something from him in the war. You know what I mean? Like that. So, yeah, he would be crazy. Like, and I loved it, every minute of it. No, because the things that she did to, if I could bring you around people that would tell you the real story about that, and how I used to just let people treat me however, you know why? Because I didn't want to put my hands on no female. I said, I'm not going to be like my father. I'm not going to be like my father. That abusive.
Like I do it for cake,
So I stopped, I stopped putting my hands on females.
On for the little Debbie.
Now when they start tussling me or something, what I do is I go get somebody the same age, or I got one of my other woman and be like, listen, this woman is doing this. I'll go get dirty waters if I have to.
Don't get messy in the dirty waters, brother.
She would often argue with people and try to intimidate others with her behavior. One time, she attempted to scare me, but I stayed calm and refused to react out of fear. I just looked at her and let her know I wasn't intimidated by threats or aggressive behavior. Look at Chris. Look at Chris that used to play Russian roulette. He'd be like, Bobby, you don't want to join me? You don't want to join me? He'll spin it. Yeah, you sure you don't want to draw me? I like, hell no. Come on, man. Stop eating the click. And he'll click it. I had Nicole crying. Nicole was crying.
There was no bullets in there.
There was 6 in it. He put one single bullet and spin it. He plays Russian roulette. So he should do that. Like he said, I'm not gonna skip. It really would have got me. I would have lost that game.
My goodness.
He was spinning. And you know what I used to do? Because I was on parole, right? I was on parole in that address. Like I'm out of here, you know? Like I needed that.
Listen, that was a no-go for you, man.
Needed that spot.
That was a no-go for you, bro. Like, how you on parole?
You know what I used to do? Actually, Nicole, she'll tell you because she was hanging out one time. I used to do this. When he used to spin it and put it to his head, I used to go because I already experienced when my man did it to himself. Listen, I was young. It's like we're 12 years old. We was all sitting down and people, yeah, I played the game once or twice, you know, but I didn't care about my life because I lost my father.
I mean, I ain't never, I did it like to a foot one time.
Nah, we were doing to the head, like we was going. And I said it. You did it. I'm gonna do it past it.
Hell no.
This way. Spun it. He went, bah! That would have passed like right by me, almost would have taken me. Wow, you understand? I could. If I would have just been a couple of inches forward, that would have went. You know, it would have. It would have got me too. It would have taken two birds with one. Yeah, but he put all his parts. I had all of like me and the guy right here happened. The vibe. Oh my God.
Right back by my cousin's house. My cousin was in Member Munch.
Wow, that's insane, bro.
You forgot about that. He took himself out up right there too.
Yeah, yo, that was all over the news and everything.
The wires to the city. Yeah, the key, boom. My was some dumb, like, and Much told me I talk too much. I said, but how the fuck you? Like, he took himself. Like, he was like, because he was stressed out. Like, he didn't want to live no more. And he was going through something with his girl. And then one day he was telling them like that. Nah, he was just playing around. And then he like out of nowhere, he was like, nah, I'm serious. In the living room, in front of everybody. Yo, but that was so crazy though that I met.
I miss back in the days, like 80, 85, 80. From like 80 to all the way to like 88 was the best, you.
No, I'm from the 80s, baby. Those were the best time for me. Right?
Those were the best times because life was different. You know, you young. I mean, you had everything. Anything you wanted, anything that came out,
I ain't never had that.
I had it because my father had a bar in 103rd, you know, in the corner. And, you know, my father was one of those. He taught that would be coming out from inside the bar. I always thought they were selling sugar. I remember one time I found a 50 bill and it was folding. So I opened it up and I must have been like 6 years old. And I opened it up and I thought it was sugar. So I went like this way, like why they put sugar inside of the money? And I when I listed it and I said, he looked at me like, where the you got that? Man, like I was high as I didn't know that you could get cooked up from touching it bare hand. It's like dope. If you touch your bare hand, it gets into your I didn't know that. I didn't know that if you touch cocaine bare hand, you get coked up. It goes into your prods.
You know what? That reminds me of something funny that happened to me when I was a kid one time, right? I used to like to smoke weed and I always liked smoking weed. And I was
You took a dust blunt.
listen, look, me and my man, we was rolling up a blunt and then I don't know where a police came. Remember? I'm like 10 years old.
Ate it.
I ate this.
You get high from that?
I didn't even know that would light me up like that.
That's like eating edibles, yo.
Listen, I ate the whole blunt. The cow came and he kind of suspected that I ate it, but he couldn't prove it. It was like, open your mouth. I was like, just like what? And then when I opened it, oh, he looked, but all you smell was a straight like bug. Like I was just looked at me like, yeah, this little about to be lit. But he still locked me up though. He didn't have nothing on the wig, but I had a warrant when they went that name. And I didn't even had a warrant. I had a pinch petition. Warrant was I had to be in school at a certain time.
I used to hate friends that you say they're your friends, and then you go and sneak into the movie theater, and he gets caught, and he be like, Bobby Mike, come out. Yo, Julio, come out. They call him. And you know what I hear? This is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm hearing. And we in the mall, right? We sneaking into movie theater. He gets caught. He said that. He goes, come on, guys. He goes, we got caught. In my mind, I'm like, I didn't get caught that. You know what I did? I was hanging on the bottom of, like, I got underneath the car and I'm like, this is the middle of the car, holding on to the thing like this, you know, the two on thing. I'm like this. I know that I can see that somebody was coming to that car. And I'm like, oh, please.
He was rolling.
It was intense though. I let it carry me all the way out to the parking lot. When the car was about to pull off into the street, I jumped away and ran. People were like, oh my God, he ran. And I was like, no, he didn't. I got up and started running all the way home. When I got there, can you believe the cops came to the house? My whole family was there and everyone was scared. We hid him under the bed and in the closet because we heard them coming. My mother kept saying, I know, while trying to handle the situation. I was just standing there in shock. But yeah, my mother, she was doing my mother was really strong through everything, and I'm grateful for her support. When I got into trouble, she stood by me, even though she had health issues and couldn't handle a lot of stress. During that difficult period, I spent a long time isolated, which gave me a chance to reflect on my life and the choices I had made. While I was there, I met a lot of different people and learned from their experiences. I connected with individuals who encouraged me to think differently and open my eyes to a completely different perspective on life. Looking back, that period became an important turning point for me.
Okay, y'all, we need to talk about Bobette and this rice situation. No, seriously. This man said, "Don't worry, I got dinner." I said, "Okay, cool, let him cook." Why did this man make rice so watery it turned into pudding?
Not pudding.
I'm talking about you could eat it with a straw. I opened the pot and the rice said splish splash. Bobette, that rice was so watery, if I dropped a cracker in there, it would have started swimming laps. Bobette standing there proud too, like he was on a cooking show, talking about, it just needs a few more minutes. Sir, it needed a lifeguard. And the crazy part, he still ate 2 bowls like it was gourmet. Confidence levels were through the roof. Listen, if your rice jiggles when the pot moves, just start over. Don't serve that to people. All right, everybody. That's the end of today's episode. We laughed, we learned, we avoided at least 3 emotional breakdowns and 1 lawsuit.
If you made it this far, congratulations. You officially survived another episode of people pretending to know what they're doing.
Remember, drink water, answer your emails, and never trust a sentence that starts with real quick.
To our listeners, thank you for spending your valuable time with us instead of fixing your sleep schedule.
And to the haters, thank you for the engagement metrics.
Until next time, stay curious, stay dangerous, and please mute yourself before chewing.
This podcast is not responsible for bad decisions made with confidence. Good night, everybody.